When we're out of the classroom, it's hard to know if students are being productive or if they're stuck or frustrated. I would like to take a look at this graph today and extract evidence from this graph that demonstrates that, at least for this day, my students were able to move forward and be very productive in terms of their task. The first bit of evidence that I like to focus on is the fact that this student team has produced a graph that is velocity versus time, and that they have found a linear fit for that velocity versus time right there. They've installed a best fit line on their data, and that slope has a value of 1.009 meters per second per second. So there's some cognitive understanding there that the slope of a velocity versus time graph will give you the acceleration. And this is evidence that the student can use in his or her report to demonstrate that they've met the target of 1 meter per second squared. The second bit of evidence is a little less obvious, and that is that this linear fit that they came up with is actually not something that happens automatically with the software, but is the result of some playing around with some of the software features and actually using the software in a reasonably sophisticated way to get what they needed. So in other words, the blue dots would show up as a result of hitting a button, but this linear fit shows up because students have to manipulate the software and to use it in a meaningful way. So that's important to note, and I think for me to recognize that at least this student team was able to get to that point. And finally, the third bit of evidence is also pretty subtle. One might ask, well, why did the students choose this range to fit as opposed to this range here? Why not include this piece, this abrupt jump from 0 up to about 0.4 meters per second? And that demonstrates that this student team recognized that during this time here, those first few moments, the device, the object that was moving, was a little bit too close to the motion detector. It has a limitation and can only see things at a certain minimum distance. And as soon as it was able to see that object, it jumps up and gives an impression that the object is moving very quickly, but it's really just the sensor, in a sense, coming to life. And it's this segment here that is the motion that the students really want to capture. This represents a real triumph of thinking in that the students were really recognizing the limitations of the sensor and taking that into account when they did their analysis.